Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 18 of Ursine Combo Lab Audio, FGC UCLA's fighting game podcast. Today, it is Retro Agent I that will be talking at length about our episode topic, which is EVO 2023. This is just going to be a very informal discussion on whatever comes to mind for both of us. Since EVO is upon us, it is this weekend, and there's plenty that's going to take place at this massive event that somehow needs to fit 12,000 people. I don't remember the exact amount of unique people that they have, but do you remember that number?
12,000 seems like a lot. I think it's around 10,000 probably.
10,000. Okay. Yeah,
Feels like it. Maybe it is 12,000. Not sure.
the number was here somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it, but yeah. Regardless, those of you that are watching the stream or whenever you see this VOD will see that I have open. Let me share this with you too.
Yeah, according to
make it
Google,
easier.
it's 9,182. So
Oh my goodness.
near 10,000.
No, yeah, regardless, it's going to be insane amount of people. And of course, this is the highest number of attendees EVO has had ever in its over 10-year history. Like, obviously, it's over 15 years even. But point being, there's going to be a lot of people here. And the logistics of organizing a 7,000 person Street Fighter 6 tournament, I still don't know how it's going to be done, but they'll find a way to pull it off in a 3-day period. What games are you looking forward to the most? I mean, there's plenty in the side tournaments, but even like among the main games, is there anything that you're looking forward to the most?
Me, what can I say? I'm a big Street Fighter head. So Street
Oh,
Fighter
yeah.
6, I'm very excited to see who tops out in Street Fighter 6. No lie.
Me too. Any particular players you've got in mind? I know let me pull up the attendees list. There's like plenty of Hollywood players showing up from all around the world, but anyone in particular you've got in mind?
Yeah, I like Mena RD, I'm not gonna lie. I
Okay.
think he's always been a pretty cool guy. So he won the combo breaker. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna do well this tournament too.
I,
Blanca Ball is quite good.
oh my goodness. Yeah, Punk was complaining about that right after CEO. Oh man, it was legit just clockwork. Like the minute he was out of the tournament, yeah, Blanca is just cheap and all that, his standard stuff.
Who does Dogura play in Street Fighter 6?
Oh, I have no clue. I imagine one of the top tiers, right? He's definitely a top tier kind of person.
Dude, look at Sonic Fox. Fighting
Yeah.
game god out here. Just playing all the games.
How many is that? 6? 5? 5 games out of the 8, I believe there are. We can just go back.
Too good. He's just too good.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think the TOs had a very fun time trying to figure out wave scheduling to make sure there was no conflicts. Because obviously Sonic Fox is the profile of a player who you wouldn't want to be DQ'd from one of those games. But obviously, naturally, there's going to be some issues there. Okay, cool. So Meta RD. I think for me personally, looking at the players on the first page especially, I think Meta RD seems like a safe pick, but I have to pick someone that's obviously not him. I mean, I think Idom's obviously always going to be a contender, but lately he's not been performing up to the level that we've seen.
Who does he play in Street Fighter 6? I don't even know who he plays in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, he plays
Oh,
Manol.
Void? Oh.
He plays Manol, which is obviously like I think at the top level play, people say that she's a little weak. But for
Dude,
like
Void's playing Street Fighter 6 too? Sheesh. Even got the Smash Heads playing Street Fighter 6.
yeah. I mean, considering that Smash is not at Evo, this is actually this is no small news. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. And entering Street Fighter 6 as the sole game. Yeah, I was gonna say Idom, but given his performance of late, it's hard to say that he'll be a solidified contender, even for top 6. Which
Wait,
yeah,
Punk plays MVC3?
he does,
way.
and he's legit. He's very legit at that game.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
He plays Team Easy Mode, to be fair, which is Wolverine, Doom, Virgil, and that team, quite honestly, Oh dear, I never checked if audio is working. Sorry, can you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Good.
Oh my dude, if audio wasn't picking up, I would have been so enraged. Okay, okay. Yeah, Punk plays Team Easy Mode in Marvel 3. He plays Wolverine, Doom, Virgil. And I say easy mode, but to be honest, Wolverine has kind of fallen out of favor in Marvel 3. And we'll talk about this more because I have a lot to say about Marvel 3. But yeah, Punk is entered in Marvel 3. He's good at the game. Um, he's also entered in Strive and Dragon Ball Fighters, which is interesting. But I heard that he's not sponsored right now, so maybe it allows him to focus on more games that he wants to play.
Riddles. I see a lot of Smash players too. Riddles. I
Riddles.
guess Riddles plays fighting game characters in Smash anyways too. But
Yeah, speaking of,
interesting.
everyone's favorite Smash player, Leffen.
Oh, Leffen.
Yep, he's definitely entered.
Oh.
And also in Strive, of course.
Oh, Violent Kane or Violent Ken?
Yeah, Violent
Oh,
Kane,
Violent Kane.
the KOF
Yeah.
player. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he's been practicing. I think he's more focused on KOF still, but he definitely wants to make a name for himself in this game. Tokido is a good pick, I think, for top 6 at least. Right? Like
Is he
he's
playing Ken?
I don't know what character he's playing actually. Um, yeah. Oh man, I don't recall most of the characters that the players play. Again, this is like the first very large
Yeah.
scale international tournament, right? So we'll be seeing.
Oil King. Sheesh.
Yeah, Oil King. Street Fighter 5 top tier enthusiast. Xian, Nemo, Fudo. Yeah, a lot of famous names. Mena RD right there. Yeah, I don't know. I think Tokyo seems like a pretty safe pick. He's always a strong player for basically any Street Fighter game. Street Fighter 5 throughout its entire lifespan, you couldn't count him out. Now, Street Fighter 6 is obviously a very different game. I think there's still techniques being figured out how to best manage the drive gauge, but at least CEO showed that you really have to do your homework on how to beat drive rush in neutral, because otherwise jury players will just do it on you, and you'll you know you'll be caught on your heels in neutral if you're not careful. But yeah, a lot to look forward to for Street Fighter 6 side of things. I've already kind of hinted at this. I'm most looking forward to Marvel 3 spectator wise. There's way too much that I've been like reasoning through my head about like who can make top 6 or who can make the finals, because Marvel 3 is such a volatile game that really anyone can win if they're competent enough. If basically they don't drop their combos. But looking at the projected, let me refresh this to make sure it's up to date.
Is this your projected or like the predicted by Evo?
This is like the based on the seeding, so just literally like
Oh, I
the
see.
seeding
Like
determines.
who's higher? Yeah, I see.
Yeah, like so in a head-to-head matchup, it just says the higher seeded player wins. So
Got you.
yeah, yeah. Looking at the top 48, like there are several good players in this top 48 that will get knocked out at this stage, which is unfortunate. But one thing that was particularly interesting with this, it was seeded with Ryan LV at number 2 seed initially, and then they changed it at some point between last week and this very moment. And now Ryan LV is seeded to not even make the top 6. I don't remember his exact seed, but it's certainly interesting. The number 2 seed was contentious to say the least, given that he's not been to large scale offline tournaments in quite a while. I believe the last tournament that he's been in the public purview was in 2021 or no 2020. It was 2020 with Twitch Rivals, and that was on Parsec. And then he appeared in a few YouTube videos of, I think, like offline casuals in 2021, but since then he's kind of been out of the public eye, and people are a bit uncertain on what his skill level is at the current moment. I personally think that everyone should be scared of him and respect like the fact that he's not, like, I can say for sure that he's been playing the game still. It's not like he ever stopped. Obviously PSN Net plays a whole different world, and I don't know how he manages to deal with that, but that aside, I think all of his skills are still intact, And honestly, I feel like he's one of the favorites to win the whole thing still, despite his not having been to the number of offline tournaments that maybe these other players have been lately. But Ryan Levy aside, Chris G is definitely a favorite, and he's obviously projected to be in top 6. And many people consider him the Marvel 3 GOAT still. Even though he's been playing Street Fighter 6 and some other games, it's very clear that he has the competitive pedigree to keep up with all the rest of the people that have been playing actively. And if he just de-rust a little bit, I think he'll be more than capable of contending for the whole thing. Jabril is a heavy favorite by many people, and honestly, that's like the safest favorite. He's been winning everything lately that he's been to, or getting second. Liberal Terminator is like a new up and comer in the Parsec era. He's been playing the Nova Spencer Doom team. I know how you feel about Nova Retro Age. Would you like to say it on the record?
What does he say? What's his iconic quote that he
You like that?
keep on here?
You like that?
you like that. That's true. The power of the Nova Force.
Yeah.
I played that team. I played against that team a lot. Our Marvel enjoyer back at UCLA clapping me with that exact team. All I could say, it's a good team. It's a good team.
Oh yeah, for sure. It just gives like a lot of output for how much you put into it.
Can't wait to see Spencer loops.
Yeah. Bionic arm. Yep.
Yeah. I'm not much to say about Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't know if you guys don't know. I'm not a big fan of that game. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's understandable. It's the game is so volatile and crazy.
But you know what? There's like a new meta right now. The game has evolved, kind of ish.
Yeah.
From, 3 years ago. So maybe we'll see something new.
I mean, honestly, the interesting thing is that, like, we say there's a new meta, but like the more things changed, the more things went back to Morrigan, Doom, Virgil, Zero, and Phoenix a little bit. But otherwise, like, people are playing Doom, people are playing Virgil. Everyone's trying to win. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of names in here that are specialists, and I think they can make a lot of noise. Absolutely. And Ray is like absolutely 100% the best Magneto. I think as long as he can get in his flow, he can beat pretty much anyone in this bracket. But because it's Marvel 3, he can also lose to a lot of people, unfortunately. So you just have to be having your best day for this kind of game. But yeah, we can maybe talk more about this later.
Yeah, hopefully someone with more knowledge comes on. I have no knowledge, so.
Oh yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, I can
speak much about it.
For sure. Yeah, no worries. I can talk so much about Marvel 3 at Evo, but we want to at least get a high level overview of all the rest of the games first. Tekken 7, Stormclimber was telling me a little bit about it. Like, basically, the Tekken community seems to still enjoy the game a lot, and there is a lot of international rep that are very strong. And honestly, like, players like me have had trouble with some of those international players, like players from Pakistan. But unfortunately, from what I've heard, some of them won't be able to make it because of visa issues, which is just like the worst.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like the 10-0 matchup. So that is like a huge bummer. But still, the fact that Tekken even made 1,500 entrants, what is it, 8 years?
Is that surprising? Yeah, I don't think that's that surprising.
It's not surprising, but it's still like incredible, I guess. That's the way to put it.
I see.
Yeah, like 7 years after it released or whatever it is, I think that's definitely worth highlighting.
I think this tournament for Tekken 7 will be like the greatest tournament. There will be no other tournament after this one. This will be like the high point for Tekken 7 going forward, in my opinion, because it's like going to be like the last major before Tekken 8 rolls out, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of entrants here, it's like you're going to be the last one to be like the winner of Tekken 7, you're the last name in Tekken 7. That might be the reason why there's quite a few entrants.
That's true. Given that Tekken 8 is on the horizon as well. this is definitely one where, you know, if you win it, then you can say that you had the last word in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's agreeable. Again, though, I'm not 100% certain on like all the players that are going. I of course I do hear that players like Knee, CBM, John Ding, like all the people that are consistently at offline tournaments and that kind of thing, they'll be in attendance. It's really like the players from Pakistan that are very strong but just aren't able to make international events as much. Those players unfortunately won't be able to make it. So it's not, going to be the craziest Tekken tournament it could possibly be, but it's still going to be a lot of fun to watch, I imagine. Again, I personally don't have too much insight on the people in attendance myself, so we'll probably have to leave it at that for Tekken 7. But it should be fun.
I'm surprised there's that many people for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm looking at the numbers again. I'm like, that's a lot of people.
It is. Yeah, that one is definitely surprising.
1,345 people are about to get rolled 3-0,
Yeah.
And in like 30 seconds.
You're not wrong there.
I'm like, wow, you guys are signing up for some monster sauce. Like, every time I play Marvel vs. Capcom, I feel like I'm not playing the game. Which I'm not playing the game, to be honest, because I'm bad, right? So I just get steamrolled, but
No, yeah, point.
You get steamrolled at every level of the game, right? So.
For real. I mean, you get hit, you get mixed up, then you lose. Like, you don't really have that many chances to play.
You know what I am surprised about? Here's a surprise. I'm surprised that Fighters has such low amount. With the new update, like, so many changes. Like, Dragon Ball Fighters is like a completely different game than it was last year, in my opinion. And I'm surprised there's this little entrance. It's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, to be fair, there's a lot of fighting games to play right now that have good netcode or have strong communities. And Fighters, unfortunately, has been relegated to the catacombs, right? Like it's not had rollback.
No rollback.
And that's, I guess, the only thing, because otherwise it's been getting a healthy amount of updates. But at the same time, it's been a while since the heyday of the game, and since then there have been plenty of games that have come out with good features. SF6, not the least of which. So
I just feel like the new update. I feel like the new update should have like resurged it, but I guess bad netcode. The new update can't save the game from bad netcode.
Yeah, unfortunately. And it's hard to breathe new life into a game after you messed it up once, which is the case for DNF. We don't even see in the main lineup here. So I think that says a lot. We'll get to DNF soon, though, eventually, for the side tournaments. KO15.
The devil's number.
Yeah, very peculiar number indeed. This is pretty low, I'd say, given
I agree.
how recent the game was released.
I thought it'd be in the 1,000.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Like, I think there's a lot of crossover with SF6, but even that wouldn't explain the low number, because I feel like that would make it like higher number, right? If there's a lot of crossover with SF6, but at the same time, I guess all the SF6 players are focusing on SF6 now, so it's like,
True,
okay,
it's got the money.
It's got the money. I mean, hey, if you're an esports player, that's a very sensible decision to me. But even with that,
I'm surprised it has less than Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which in my opinion, King of Fighters 15, very much better game in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean, on paper, absolutely. I mean, spectating Marvel 3 is still like super fun.
Spectating, that's true. I don't know.
But I mean,
I think it should have more than Marvel. If I were to order this list, it'd be very different.
No, yeah. I mean, dude, it's still crazy that this game somehow got 1,300 entrants, right? But it's gonna have an incredible year. It got a Sunday spot for that matter, which I think is great. It's perfect for that game. So, the other games will just have to kneel. Let me go ahead and pull up KO15's entrance. Obviously, Xiaowei being there, I feel like he's the absolute favorite to win.
I agree.
Although there is an asterisk here. Allegedly, he's been focusing on SF6 lately, and he has been beaten by some of the players recently in their like practice sets. Some of the other players have basically like quote unquote caught up to him. But I think if he really puts his mind to it, like he should have no problem winning the whole thing. Of course, whether his attention is split between SF6 and KO15 now, that's up to him really, but I still feel like he's the favorite. Now, of course, if there's anyone to challenge Xiaohai, I think it would probably be Lashar, and he should be entered in here. I remember seeing him in the entrance. Lashar came close to beating Xiaohai at EVO Japan, and that one was... Oh, he's not? No way. I thought I remember seeing Lashar. Maybe I'm mistaken. Well, in any case...
Maybe he's got one of those like asterisks or like accents or some tone.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. I mean, I thought I remember seeing him, but if that's not the case, then we'll have to look for an alternative challenger. But looking through this... Oh, ET, I guess, is a good pick, too, because he's definitely very good. But he's also entered in SF6, as we can see.
SF6 is, I'm telling you, SF6 doing everything right.
Yeah.
Doing everything right. And well-deserved 7,000 entrants. And, well-deserved.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the game is an actual video game that, honestly, I don't think any other fighting game was worth its $60 price tag up to this point. So it's definitely proven its worth. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we can just leave it at this. Hey, what's up, Sarah? He's right there.
Sarah, let's go. He's running the tag, repping.
Yeah, repping FGC
UCLA. Based.
Yeah, so I couldn't find another player in time, but they're probably in there somewhere. Regardless, though, Xiaohai does feel like a favorite to me in KO 15, but it's still a weird one because it's such low entrance given the expectations. Now, expectations are a different story when it comes to SNK's announcements. They've always nailed it, in my opinion, when it comes to being well prepared with some great news for their fans at these sort of events. So I think they'll have some good news in store. And this is not like any insider info. This is just my fan guess, but and everyone kind of has this same what's the word, inkling that Garo 2 news will be announced, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. You know what else will be announced?
Oh,
you know what I'm thinking already.
Oh,
That Samurai Showdown rollback. I'm on
Yeah.
that maximum copium. It's gotta be good this time, right? On this third iteration.
I mean,
I'm blessing.
to be fair, they've gone in a bit of silence after the second beta, and this has been a good amount of time for them to prepare themselves, let it simmer.
This third one better be saucy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting here mauling a little bit.
Yeah.
My Sam Show love is slowly dying away. I should just appreciate that they're doing anything with that game, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that rollback is looking sus. Even after the second one, I'm telling you.
No, yeah, it's valid, and quite honestly, I just remembered too that they might also have additional news on the KOF 13 rollback because the beta, I think, had just started before this week. I'm not sure if it was Sunday or Monday, but it had just started recently, and they might have more news on that, but we'll see. I think the KOF 13 rollback stuff has kind of gone under the radar just because people might have started realizing that, oh, this is not such a beautiful game that we are saying it is, because when they actually play it,
it's
a
the
different story.
Skullgirls mentality. The game looks good, and then the gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
A little different.
I mean, don't get me wrong. KOF 13 is a great game, like fighting game, but it is overrated. I think it's worth saying.
Certainly a fighting game of all time.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And it's very much carried by the visuals. Like, I'll just say that. Like, as a KOF game, it is not up there in my opinion. But
I agree.
As a fighting game, it's definitely good enough. Okay, so enough with that. We got MBTL and MK. I can't really speak much about MK, but that is like I feel like this game even getting in was like, come on now. Like,
I agree.
obviously,
I shouldn't have gotten it in my opinion.
Yeah. But like, it has an announcement, so I guess they just like have that.
I'm surprised
relationship.
Melty Blood got more than MK, to be honest. I was thinking Melty Blood would be last, but
to be fair,
I'm just a certified anime hater, so there's that bias coming through.
No, you have a point there, actually. I think Melty Blood having the entrance it does have shows that it's a very isolated community from the rest of the games that are here. There's not a lot of crossover with Melty Blood and the rest of the games, maybe except for Strive. And honestly, like the people that are entered in Strive are probably focused on Strive and not this game, right? But what contributes to this entrant tally is very likely the Japanese player base, because that the player base for from that region that plays this game, they usually show up for the large scale events like this that have Melty Blood, so they'll show up. Not to mention, French Bread has been pretty consistently like faithful of a developer to the sort of pre-Strive gameplay design philosophy. So I think a lot of people are huge fans of that and still stick with it. And of course, on top of the fact that Melty Blood's in here, there's very likely to be some French bread news. Now, of course, this one is like,
are we on that copium?
Yeah, this one is
copium.
This one is actual copium. Like this one is like there's not really any basis for it except for like, come on, surely, right? Like that's like the only reasoning we have. But supposedly there will be Uni 2 news. Now,
okay.
Let's to get this on the record, right? Like where we are with the Uni in the year of our Lord 2023 is Uniclair released in 2020, a very unfortunate timing with zero rollback and only one DLC character, an update that was contentious at best, let's put it that way. And then from there on, it was kind of left to the wayside because MBTL released, it was announced, and then shortly after released, and obviously French Bread's attention, there being a small studio, has been focused on that game for the past couple of years. Fast forward to flashback to 2021 though. Raito had hinted that the next Uni was in development. That was 2 years ago. It's been some time since then. It's been reconfirmed here and there that it's in development. And then there was a leak that Uni 2, or the specific title being Sistema Celeste, was rated in a Korean ratings board. So it does confirm the game's existence. Now, that doesn't say anything whether there will be an announcement or not. But in terms of the historical timetable that French Bread has had with announcing their games, it does sort of line up with the Melty Blood leak. And I think also the Uniclair leak back when that happened too. So it's not entirely unlikely that there's an announcement for it, but let's not get our hopes up because there's not really been any confirmation on that. And typically French Bread operates on their own timeline. So we'll have to just see when it happens. I think there are some parameters for that game to have to succeed anyway. Obviously, it needs to have rollback netcode. If your game doesn't have rollback netcode releasing in this day and age, then it's just dead on arrival, right? Not to mention, it needs to have, what was I going to say? It has to have netcode, good netcode, and then also has to not be like DNF gameplay, because I think that clearly doesn't work based on people's reception of that game.
I think it needs a single player mode that's not existing single player modes.
Interesting.
There's like for me, what stops me from getting into a lot of like, okay, it's not a rando fighter, but it's like anime fighters, right? Is that I'm not interested in the IP, right? And if I'm not interested in the IP, then you need to give me something to get me interested in the IP somehow. And the only way you're going to do that is single player content. If your single player content has something, anything that's like interesting, that's different from existing fighting game single player content where it's just like, oh, you fight cutscene, PNG, right? That's what will get me to play Under Night. If it doesn't have that, I'm not, I'm already biased against anime fighters, but if it doesn't have any single player content, or it's like the same as previous iterations, where it's just like a PNG cutscene fight, there's 0% chance I'm picking it up.
And actually, that's a great point you bring up, because how I felt about fighting games lately is definitely similarly aligned. I do think Street Fighter 6 has, like, hopefully at least, has woken people up to realize that, yeah, fighting games the way it's been done for all this time, it shouldn't be this way. And Street Fighter 6 is attempting to set the new standard that will hopefully be followed from here on. And obviously, in terms of lessons to be learned, I don't think Arxes will take will latch onto that, unfortunately, given their track record and what they've got going for upcoming releases. I don't think they'll make any effort into matching what SF6 has got. They'll ride on the fact that, hey, we've got an interesting IP, or hey, we've got this player base that is always going to buy our games, and
That's true.
we'll get away with it. And given that anime is kind of split off from Street Fighter and maybe SNK, they'll probably get away with it, sure. But I do hope that indeed, as you said, like Street Fighter 6 has given people like an idea of what needs to be done in terms of good.
Uni 2 just needs to give me something that makes me interested in the IP.
Yeah.
Like just anything. Because like right now I'm like, oh, noodle arm guy. I like noodle arm guy because he has noodle arms. Right?
Yeah.
That's the like if I were to get the game, it'd be like me getting Strive. I literally only got Strive to play Potemkin, and that's it. I've literally like if you looked at my hours played on like each character, it's like Kai Kisuke 1 hour, and then Potemkin is like the rest of my hours. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. They're not catering to me anyway, so it doesn't matter, in my opinion. But whatever, you know. I'm just saying, if they want to get people who aren't already playing Uni, I guess they could ride off like, oh, we have rollback, so you know, any dedicated FGC member will buy it anyways. But I don't know. Looking kind of rough, in my opinion.
Agreed. Given its French spread, again, they'll have their very dedicated player base playing the Uni, and I'll very likely play Uni too if that comes out. But you know, I'm not making any commitments in that necessarily because we don't.
I
even
hope
do
it
that to
does
ourselves.
well. I'll give.
Yeah.
I'm always hoping for fighting games to do good, but it looks rough out here.
I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I do not wish for modern ArcSys fighting games to do well. Like, I feel like it's unrecognizable, dude, who they are
I
now.
played DNF. Okay, you know about DNF Duel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have mind seeing DNF Duel here rather than MK.
Yeah.
MK11. Because I was playing DNF Duel, and it's actually, you know, when you play it casually, it's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. I was pressing buttons, and I was playing the pole arm guy, the guy with the lance, and he's just swinging his thing. Huge. Okay, don't take that out of context. He's swinging his pole, freaking half screen. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the game, like what it has to offer, is there's definitely something there, but it wasn't fully realized in a time frame that people were patient with. And
I think it got the Twitter hate, the influencer hate, and then
yeah, it's ironic too.
okay, not that it's not deserved, but it
Right.
did that. I feel like that had a significant impact on this downward trend.
Agreed. I mean, like at the end of the day, people like, you know, they're the shills in the beginning, and then people are like, wait, this game is just all right. And then everyone started realizing, oh, this game is just all right. And then everyone started thinking, nah, it's bad. And then they tried multiple times to fix that without really a strong sense of direction. And I think that's what put people off. And even the players like, you know, Sonic Soul that were dedicated to it were like uncertain whether they should continue it because it's like the devs haven't really communicated anything. So
Yeah.
it just put everyone in a weird
And they
situation.
got this new character coming out too, but the timing is just so bad.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, but you know, I'm sure they'll figure it out or something.
Maybe there's like 5 people working on the game, and that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It could be. But yeah, we went through the main games. We can go ahead and talk about the community showcase games. So I guess while we're talking about community showcase, let me
Oh wait, before that, for
yeah, go ahead.
MK11,
Yeah.
NRS, they've been announcing so much stuff. I don't know what they're gonna announce for their
Yeah.
Evo thing. They must if they come out with Injustice 3 on top of MK1. Oh my goodness, my head's gonna explode, dude. Like they've been putting out so much MK1 content. Like it's crazy. What do they have for Evo?
Yeah,
You know?
that would be an interesting surprise should it come. I mean, I'm not too certain that they would come with that sort of thing, but you know, given that.
Injustice 3 is even more copium than Uni 2. Like,
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Yeah, let's just put it
but
that way.
Mortal Kombat, dude, the Mortal Kombat Pack 1, I was like, what? It's crazy. What do they have planned for Evo? Like, I don't know, dude. NRS is on some mad sauce right now. I'm not gonna lie. MK1's been looking fire. You know, MK11, eh. I'm sure MK1 will do way better than MK11. Like, just there's so many. They're doing everything better. They took I feel like they took feedback from MK11. They're like, oh yeah, the two defensive bar and the offensive bar. It sounds good on paper, but it's actually trash. Honestly, one of the worst parts of MK11 ever, in my opinion, was the splitting the bar and having it regenerate. Oh, horrible. I thought it was good at first when I first thought of it, but then when I actually played the game, casually of course,
Mhm.
and then I saw competitive gameplay, I was like, this is horrible. This is trash. So, MK1, they got rid of it, and it's now back to one bar. And they're doing good things. They're doing good things over at NRS.
Yeah, I guess that's a relief because I mean, you know, a lot of people were definitely pretty antagonistic about the MK11 gameplay, competitively at least. But yeah,
Wouldn't recommend.
all right, heard. Okay, well, great. I think that's about it for. The
Oh,
main
how
games
would you
for now.
order this list for the final closing thoughts on 8 main events?
Like
If
what
it
I'm
were up
most
to you, like
like
based on participants,
like what I'm most looking forward to, or just like do I agree with like the entrance or something?
or like yeah, like what was your expectation for the entrance?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Street Fighter 6 obviously first, Strive second. Those make sense to me. Third, that's where it gets tricky. I guess Tekken third is fair enough, but I would have put KO15 fourth probably, and then let's see, KO15 fourth, Fighters fifth, Marvel 3 sixth, and then the rest as it is. MTL 7, MK11
And we
8th.
have the same mind. Yeah, I'm about similar thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely crazy that Marvel 3 beat those other four games cleanly.
Do you think it will survive after this, or
Yeah,
uh,
based on the excitement, like I've been watching a lot of VODs of Marvel 3 lately, based on all the excitement the players have, and you know the fact that there's no need for Capcom to bring a Marvel versus Capcom announcement for the excitement to probably continue after this. I think this could be sustained if it were to return in a future year. Now,
what?
whether oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I just no. Continue your thought.
Yeah, I guess the question is whether it will return at all, like in the future, and I think that would largely depend on how it does this year. But I can't see, I don't see a reason for the game to quote unquote die if it doesn't return to Evo again, because I mean the community has been playing it without being at Evo since 2017. Like they had side tournaments, but you know they played in Parsec for crying out loud, and Parsec is like the maximum cope. It's like that's like the last layer of copium for a game, you know. So yeah,
MVC4 announcement after top 8 of
ooh, okay.
how cope is that?
That's
Versus
that.
the things that I've just said, were Injustice 3, Uni 2.
Okay, it's definitely more cope than Uni 2, I think, but it's debatable whether. Oh, okay. To be honest, I think they're having Marvel 3 at Evo this year had nothing to do with whether there was like a new Marvel versus Capcom in development, and I think those expectations should definitely be tamed.
It
So
would go crazy. The announcement would go crazy. Actually, I think if they like even if they just put a black screen
yeah,
and the words came in from like just the basic fade in transition, oh my goodness, people's minds would actually be blown.
you know the interesting thing is, yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely on all those fronts, yes, that would be the case. Like, I don't know, I just feel like they'd have to do very well to avoid the same situation as MVCI, where it's like, hey, we've got a new game, and then it ends up, you know, people don't like it as much, and then go back to Marvel 3, and then Capcom decides to pull the plug on it. Because that's what happened to MVCI. And MVCI is
Oh,
not that bad of a game.
F6 Akuma is in the waiting room. Let's get him in here.
Let me
Oh,
drag him in.
oh.
Hey, there you are. Nice timing.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? So those of you watching the stream, we have Storm Claymore as one of our guests. Thank you so much for joining, Storm Claymore. We were just talking about like how cope it would be to have like maybe Marvel vs. Capcom news, or you can also mention a little bit about MK or Tekken, whichever you're comfortable with too, because we didn't really have too much to say on those.
Movie.
Yeah, any thoughts on Marvel vs. Capcom 4? Copium or not copium?
Oh, that's major copium.
Yo, Capcom got that Street Fighter 6 money though. They could afford to burn it on Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
I mean, here's the thing: they're already working on Street Fighter 6. Like, how are you gonna send a separate team to work on Marvel?
They're
4?
already working on Street Fighter 6. They could stop working on Street Fighter 6 right now and they'd
Very
be
true.
making bank. You know?
Yeah. I'm feeling less certain about this by the passing minute.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. If it gets announced, you can call me the seer of the FGC. All right, give me the title. Give me the title. I call it right here. FGC at UCLA predicted by me. Marvel vs. Capcom 4 announcement after top 8.
Okay,
Right
sure.
there.
It's on the record, so I mean, there's not really any stakes for it. If you were correct, then of course you'll be the legend, and if you're incorrect, no harm done.
Copium.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it
Both
is.
are factual.
Only winning as long as you don't bet any money. But yes,
How about the re-release of Marvel 1 and 2, like they did for PS3?
Oh,
hmm.
okay. Okay.
I mean, for
But
the
then again,
Marvel
it
2,
won't sell millions, so there's that.
yeah, I mean, like it depends on how much effort they would put into it. If they put zero effort, then it's like sure, might as well. But it wouldn't make as much rounds as the new Marvel vs. Capcom game. You know how people are these days. The shiny new thing. Are there? So okay, for Tekken, is there anything that you think is noteworthy about the Tekken 7 tournament this year? Because we
Um,
kind of weren't able to come up with anything.
Absolutely not. There's nothing noteworthy. It's just the usual, like TWT and probably a new trailer for Tekken 8. Nothing new, you know. It's just those two, as far as
Has
I'm
the game
concerned.
evolved any from like 3 years ago to nowadays, or is it the same game still? Same meta. Everyone's playing the same stuff.
I mean, I'm sorry. What was that again?
Has the meta changed for Tekken 7, or is it still like the same?
I mean, sort of, because everyone knows that the meta is all defined by whatever knee is talking out of his mouth. Um, like, for example, Nee would say something like, "Oh, on PS4, Noctis is top tier, but Devil Jin is bottom tier, or on PC, it's a different story." But more or less, the meta still has not changed majority, because right now people are just at this point playing their favorites instead of top tiers. Whoever, like, I'll put it this way: Joka from Germany is a Miguel player who I think he's a Miguel player, and was pretty much dominating the scene. Um, and then you have obviously FDX, who is a Noctis main since like day one. You have Kaiser, who plays like Lucky Chloe. There's just plenty of people who are just playing because they're specialists with that character, and then you have your always top 8 players like Ni playing um either Fang or whoever he feels, or Brian. You have Atif Bud playing Akuma. Arslan, he's recently changed from Zafina to Kunimitsu. And it's relatively has stayed the same, honestly. So nothing much has changed. But ever since Arslan's team, Ashes, has been denied visa, there won't be a huge a a larger Pakistan scene other than him, Atif Bud, and Khan be there, and I'm probably sure there'll be some other names I can't think of right now, but it's going to be very small, and it's still going to be a very loaded event. Like, not much has changed.
I see.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
what seems to keep Tekken 7's footing, right, is that it's like the main 3D fighter being played. So, all the Tekken heads are going to be going for Tekken no matter what, right? But yeah, okay, that's good insight. Thanks for sharing that. Do you have anything on MK11 or nah, you're good?
MK11. Uh, Same old, same. Like, honestly, the majority of like Evo is just hashing out the last juice out of the last gen games before the introduction of newer games like, like MK1. Because, MK11's what, like 4 or 5 years old right now, and it stopped development, so they're just trying to make as much time as they can before the new release of the game, which comes out very soon. Um, you're still gonna expect like, the top players. Like, I don't know much about the top players in the scene. It's unlike, like Sonic Fox and stuff. Um, if you were to, I mean, I'm sure someone like Rig Jace would help you out with that. Where is he when you need him?
No, yeah, I don't think he responded. I'm assuming he's not available, but you can try to ping him. Maybe he'll respond later when he can. But yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, the fact that MK11's even here is like, come on, it's so obvious that it's just for news. Because otherwise, it could have easily been filled by like even. I'm not kidding about this. It could have been filled by Grand Blue or DNF, right? And that would have been reasonable to me. It would have been still well balanced. Like, you have only what, 2 Arxes games right here, and Grand Blue. I don't know. Would you count that as an Arxes game? Kinda, I guess. But regardless, it would have been like well balanced out, I feel. Um, okay.
I heavily disagree with the DNF choice because I don't know, like it pretty much chopped its own foot off, but the chain was on the wrong foot. And yeah, like there's little to no scene when it comes to DNF tools. So putting it up on like the top, like the eight, it doesn't seem much of a, good choice. Um, because all these titles are just not just like how good the game is, but also like if it's relevant or not. Because there are diehard scenes, just like Mortal Kombat. Like, as much as I don't like the gameplay of it, it's a very iconic game just out there. And let's see, there's like one, two, three. There's like 5 anime fighters, and then you have like Mortal Kombat, which is whatever fighter it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. No,
But
you're. Oh yeah, go ahead.
um, with like Grand Blue, I yeah, that could have been a yeah, I could see Grand Blue being on there, but it's hard. I don't know. I'm not a Grand Blue advocate myself, but from what I can see on how they approached it, like with or without the rollback, but also with the new game coming out and um their their grand tour that they're probably still holding, like it could have been up there, but there were a lot of factors that had more negatives than positives. I mean, I would put it up there. Like, who needs Mortal Kombat? But like, regardless, I guess it's how it is.
I guess part of the rationale, right, is the scheduling too. Because look, we haven't talked about the schedule actually at all, but MK11's top 6 is scheduled at the last slot on the first day. So that alone is going to make it like an isolated, like, I guess it's kind of like quarantined from the rest of the games where it won't encroach on the timing. Because last year that was a huge deal. There was a lot of controversy about how long it took, and people complained that it ate into the announcement of Melty Blood Type Lumina, which honestly seemed to be true. So I guess it's not really a huge deal if it gets like its own quarantine time slot on the first day. and no other games top 6 is on the first day. So I guess they'll be content with that. Looking at the rest of this, there's pools mostly on the first day. Actually, we can talk a bit about the schedule before moving on to the community showcase, because I think there's a lot to dive deep into here. Obviously, all these things that are going on at the same time naturally has to be done. This is a 3-day event still, despite the fact that there's, as we established earlier in the episode, 10,000 people almost, and they're still trying to squeeze this into a 3-day event. I think that's crazy beyond belief. But yeah, there's all these pools going on, a headache for every TO alike. Then we see that the top 24 to top 6 is happening for MK11, as well as for KO15 and Type Lumina. So basically, the games that are going to finish on Saturday are doing this thing where they can do the top 24 to top 6 early on. But at the same time, on the first day, there's also going to be all the Friday showcase stuff, which is like supposed to be announcements from indie developers, just general announcements. I think Riot's supposed to be doing an announcement. Sorry, that was my phone ringing. I'll have to pick that up later. Let's see. Friday showcase, they're doing Grand Blue Rising updates, which people are looking forward to apparently. But given that the beta happened this past weekend, I think there is a bit of mixed feelings on it. Of course, I'm going off of mostly what 3K has told me, because he told me a lot in VC, which of course I won't say everything that he said in that, but he's also said a bit on the Discord, and it's kind of mixed feelings, right? But regardless, there'll be updates on that on Friday, and then of course rollback. I mean, I feel like if you're not having rollback on release, it's dead on arrival, right? Strive is gonna have some new stuff, I guess. Whatever. And then this is the controversial one, I think. This one is like, what? Because initially they said, I'm not sure if you guys remember, they said mystery developer or something.
Yes.
And then they edited it to say Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I'm not sure if it's because the developer like said on Twitter that they have an announcement, and then Evo's like, oh no, right? But I think people got even more mad that it ended up being them and not something like French Bread or some other indie developer. What do you guys think about that?
Oh boy.
Retro, anything?
Yeah, Retro.
So wait, I have background noise.
You're good. Yeah, okay. I guess Stormclaimer, if you have anything, let's go to you first.
Oh boy, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, baby. I've seen the trailer. That trailer is a huge makeover on the first game system. Like you can tell that there's a huge difference in quality and gameplay. Like if you were to compare like let's say Smashes, like the first game would have some like weird juggle where it has like a little like I don't know how to describe it, like a very, it goes up and down, but then in the second game it shows them like just like veering across the screen and with like actual like live animation. Like there's more budget in this game, and it shows like what they show with like April O'Neil, like the like huge makeovers, like. And I had to double check. I was like, "There's no way that April O'Neil looked that bad." I checked the first gameplay. I'm like, "Oh, she looks that bad."
Yeah, it's so crazy that they got away with releasing that first game the way it was and at the price it was. Now, it seems like they didn't have much to work with, so I'm not blaming the devs. I'm blaming whoever was in charge of the project.
Lodian.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy that they released what they had initially. But that being said, I agree with you. It looked a lot better. It has voice acting. Can't believe I'm saying that having voice acting is like a good thing, but like, come on now, a Nickelodeon game. Like, anyway. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like I'm okay with the fact that they have an announcement, because sure, they deserve it, especially since they've got much better things to show for the game than the first one. But the fact that this is the mystery developer, I think, is a bit disappointing. Would have hoped for something better, but it's fine, I guess. Okay. Retro.
I think.
Oh yeah, here you are.
Yes, I
Okay,
have a lot to say. I'm not sure. I had to step away for a moment,
you're good. You're good. Yeah, go
but
for it.
they should not have released a new game, in my opinion. They should have updated the old one with like all the new features. Just like literally just delete the files and inject the new game into the old game, in my opinion. I
Hmm.
think this game is destined to fail because it's releasing as like the number 2. Because it's so dirty. It's just dirty. They released a horrible, in my opinion, a horrible game, stole everyone's money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're now releasing another game for people to buy again, which is the same game but better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you might argue back in the old days or Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Alpha, Street Fighter 2, this is the modern age. We ain't doing that anymore, okay? In my this is my like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I'm very disappointed in the fact that they're releasing a new game and not updating the old one.
Yeah.
That is my controversial take here. I suppose maybe.
You know,
And
it's a fair point, and actually, I think that was my disappointment too. That they like it was definitely a bit confusing and probably greedy to do it this way, but at the same time, I feel like it's what they have to do. Like if they release it as an update to the initial game, like obviously the people that bought the game, like they're gonna be happy because they've already bought the game, right? And all they're doing is getting the better version. But I think it wouldn't, like some people also just moved on and like are not going to give it another chance. So I think doing it this way is what's going to allow the game to succeed. It's
okay, if the
yeah,
people who've moved on, why would they go buy the game again? They just wouldn't do that. There's even a
Yeah.
less percentage chance, in my opinion, of people coming back because now they have to buy a new game again versus previously it'd be an update and then they could just come back to it for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is what they deserve for releasing such a bad game, incomplete game that the players that believed in them deserve this from them
Mm-hmm.
to update their old game so they don't have to pay for it again. And of course, they could monetize it by releasing DLC characters. If the game is good, people will buy your DLC. And that's just the truth, in my opinion, right? That's how they could have made money. But instead, they're going, I'm getting a little heated here, but they're doing like a greedy business decision kind of thing, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get people to buy another copy of the game. And like, what happens to the first one? It just dies. It just disappears. They could have had version rollback, where if you wanted to play the first one, you can roll back the version, right, in the update to the game. But whatever.
No.
I won't continue. There's a lot of things I'll beeline to talk about business decisions. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about EVO. But I have a lot of beef with this release. I like the new game though. I like the changes that they made.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they're doing it, I cannot agree with.
Yeah, I can come to terms with that, honestly. Like the fact that and yeah, we can touch on this and move on. But or we can move on after I touch on this. But yeah, the fact that they're doing this as a completely new game is definitely found like it's pretty rude. Like it sounds weird to say that, but like let's use careful words. I think the hardest part to come to terms with, right, is the fact that it's gonna completely invalidate the first game. The difference with Ultra Street Fighter 4 when it released, it had edition select. So if you buy the game, like you basically are buying like all of Street Fighter 4, like every single previous version, and that wasn't always done for every. I mean, of course, modern technology is a lot better than it was in the past, but that wasn't done for like other fighting games that had the similar thing, like BlazBlue. If you were buying BlazBlue back when it had like Continuum Shift 2, Continuum Shift Extend, you had to buy the game each time. And that one was like, okay, there's not really a point in playing Continuum Shift versus Continuum Shift 2. So, yeah, that's agreeable. For the dedicated players, it's a slap in the face. For the people that are looking into the game, they might already have moved on, so like they're not going to come back and seeing something like, oh, this game is voice acting is kind of goofy to say. It's like saying that is like the plus is kind of, yeah, that already says that the game is in a weird position. Okay, in any case, so yeah, that's what's in the Friday showcase. There's also some Skullgirls news, which, you know, that game has been under fire recently for the censorship. Let's not get into that on this episode. Maybe for a future time we can talk about that. But there's going to be other indie fighting games.
I'm about to make some comments, but you're right. We should move on.
No, we can talk about that in another episode if you want, but definitely not this one. Yeah, and then there'll be a lot of trailers from indie developers.
Rivals of Aether 2. The proper way to do it. They made a good game, and then they're releasing another good game. That's okay. You do it like that. All right, I'm just putting that out.
No,
there.
true. Actually, great point, because Rivals of Aether had a lot of time to ripen and thrived as a game within its community, right? And the second version is like, all right, like we've made it to this point. Like, we've learned a lot, and we can bring that to a fresh title,
Thumbs up.
title. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. I never got into the first one, but I might get into the second one. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Justin Wong doing his explanation of Marvel 3 history, I think, will be cool for the fresh faces in the FGC since then, because there have been plenty of new people that have joined and might not be aware of why Marvel 3, an over 10-year-old game, is at EVO. And then I think so Tekken 8 is definitely interesting, but I don't know. I mean, we kind of already heard about Rashid. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what they're going to say here. Maybe they're going to reveal more DLC characters, but we kind of already know the others, right? So
probably like gameplay for DLC characters, what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, I don't know how much new they're going to say Capcom for Street Fighter 6, but Tekken 8 will definitely have some new stuff probably.
Killer Instinct? Ooh,
Yeah.
Wait, dude. Servo the hero?
Yeah.
You might be very happy this EVO.
Absolutely.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that one's an exciting one. And Killer Instincts, it's been a while since it had a new game proper. They've just been updating the current game for a long time. So that'd be cool. But yeah, that's about it for the schedule. I think that, like, the Saturday schedule is not as interesting. Let me go ahead and close this tab. The Saturday stuff is not as interesting because it's just a lot of top sixes. There's apparently a side tournament, Grand Blue Rising, that'll be on main stage, which is very cool considering that game's not out yet. So they definitely have some connections, to say the least.
Is it like an invited tournament, like to invite top 8?
Ooh, that one I'm not sure. It seems like it's an open beta tournament, but it might be just open entry. But I believe it's like a side tournament, so it's being run by like maybe the developers or publisher. Yeah. But yeah, that'll be streamed on main stage, which is cool. Excuse me. And then yeah, and then we got some top sixes for other games, and then the stuff that's on Sunday. Yep. Yeah, and then Sunday, of course, just has top sixes. There'll be plenty of ads. I can guarantee that. The in-person stuff, right? The tickets sold out, and they sold out pretty early. Like, they had to scramble to see if they could secure more, and apparently they couldn't. So the fact that happened, and there were scalpers that sold the tickets at a higher price, I think that shows that this EVO has finally made it. It's already mainstream, but like even more so now, right? That this stuff would happen. So they ought to be feeling good about themselves.
Who owns EVO now?
Sony.
Pokemon.
And
Sony.
Pokimane. Yeah, Pokimane.
And Pokimane, right?
Yes.
I thought Pokimane. That's crazy.
Sony still
Why
owns.
does she own
partially.
EVO? Like, what?
I don't know. Yeah,
That's
it's
so
weird.
whack.
And I mean, she knows a little bit about fighting games, but definitely not a lot. So yeah, it's
unusual. Like, what? Very unusual.
yeah, people,
Is she gonna do like an announcement because she's like an owner or something?
I don't know. I mean, was she even at EVO last year?
I have no idea. I just think it's so random. When I was looking up EVO, I was like, who owns this again? It switched owners, right? Because the guy got just like some stuff with the other guy.
Yeah, Mr. Wizard.
Yeah, it's just
Good old
why
Wiz.
Pokemon? Why? Just why Pokemon? Like must have so much money. She just buying stuff left and right. Like what?
Well, you
Very
have to,
unusual.
yeah. Sorry, Strong Plan was there something you wanted to say?
No, I'm just nah. I got nothing because like yeah, he's a Pokemon. Hang on, let me see Evo. Yeah, she's co-founded the company that purchased Evo like last year. So
Ah, okay, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Oh well.
RTS, I believe. So
RTF,
yeah,
yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So yeah, yeah. Obviously, they've made it right. And Evo is profitable. That's like not that's pretty well known at this point. Like, especially, it can like even if it wasn't known, it could be inferred based on the fact that these companies are interested in buying it. So, there's a lot to be said about that. Anyway, um, oh, was there something funny?
um, so as you may already know, I am a volunteer for Evo 2023.
Yeah.
Oh sheesh.
Hmm.
So we have a ask the staff you know, like
Are you
channel.
sure you can disclose this with us?
I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's
Are you
I'm
under
not as long as they don't leak any
ND?
Okay,
like
no, this is
you
fine.
know,
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead. This is fine.
as long as I'm not gonna leak confidential information. All I know is that you can ask anything that's relevant to Evo or just volunteer stuff. So I decided to ask if we can meet the co-owner of Pokemon.
Yep.
And I'm sure I'm gonna get a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask because she was there last year. The only thing she only met like content creators who are not very relevant in this FGC scene. But yeah, she was there, just wasn't in the visible eye. So
Right.
Uh,
that
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully those that are interested in doing so can, but I'm not getting my hopes up. So not that I'm interested anyway. Okay. Yeah.
I hear
So
you.
the map they've published, dude. There's so there's this map and then there's an internal map. I don't think it's been published for the community showcase. For those of you that don't know, I guess I should do the shilling right now, before I forget. So for those of you that don't know, I'll be TOing the Uniclair side tournament. That's part of the EVO 2023 community showcase. What happened
Oh
basically?
yeah.
Yeah, what happened? I'm not gonna spell all the details because some of it can't be publicized. But basically, what happened with Anime Evo is that after the whole Mr. Wizard stuff, they rebranded to Vortex Gallery, and Evo gave them space to run their own thing, like individually at Evo. But for this year specifically, and perhaps for the foreseeable future, who knows yet? We'll see how it goes. Um, Vortex Gallery will be running in partnership with Evo as the community showcase. So this year, the community showcase will feature several side tournament games that would ordinarily be featured with Vortex Gallery. I'll be running the Uniclair one. It'll be streamed on my personal channel, youtube.com/c/Crucial Drive, Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific. So feel free to tune in for that. Hopefully the stream does not receive any blow up or anything because I don't even know how it's going to go, honestly. I've got the majority of the stream stuff set up, but it's just a matter of can we get internet working and, barring any unforeseeable circumstances, right? But
I
yeah, go
I
ahead.
can so first of all, the community showcase, it's all Street Fighter. You forgot that one major point about the community showcase. It's all Street Fighter 2, 3, 4, Alpha.
Okay,
Like
I was going to get to that.
I'm not joking. Your Street Fighter 6 players will be double dipping in those community showcase games. Because if you can't win Street Fighter 6, you might as well win your old games, right? And second, um, yeah. So I've actually I told you like too many times back then, but yeah, there will be stable internet at the venue, um, enough for you to run your own stream because I actually have ran the Tekken 5 DR stream myself, and it was going very smoothly. So I wouldn't worry too much about you running Uniclear because yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh, terrific! Yeah, no, it's good to hear that. And yeah, I was gonna get to the other games. I just want to get that high level summary and then the shilling, of course, because I'm not.
Deserve. You get deserve your spot,
Co-founder in
bruh.
UCLA at FGC,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, I'm not using Twitter right now, so this is like my best chance to get it on there somewhere, and then send clips or
You
whatever.
mean X? Get with the
Oh,
time.
true. Yeah, X. I'm sorry. Yeah, that I'm never gonna get used to that. Oh my goodness.
no one is.
Horrible decision, left and right.
Indeed.
Let's not get into that.
But yeah, I've got the map open, right? So we'll talk about the community tournaments now, but I just wanted to talk about the map a little bit. So this is the Friday and Saturday map. Obviously, Sunday is going to be in the Michelob Arena, so it's going to be a different layout. But Friday, Saturday, the venue's Mandalay Bay or whatever it's called. I don't know if that's what it's called, but anyway, you got the different stages. These are all for those streams. By the way, I can hear myself, I think, on one of your ends. All of these streams are going to be the ones that we saw in the Friday, Saturday schedule. So they've got streams for each stage lettered through G. So as you can see, like these letters represent that. And one thing of note is that the main stage is going to have all this seating here, but there's going to be the other stages that are surrounding them on the perimeter. There's also the arcade, which I believe is just going to have standard like imported arcade cabinets from the vendors that Evo partnered with. There's probably going to be rhythm games and like Gundam and maybe other fighting games too. I think
We gotta talk about Gundam, man. I can't believe they're placing Gundam in the at Evo.
It's sick though, and I think actually Brett mentioned that there's going to be a BYOC tournament, not for. Wait, no, it might actually be for Overboost, like the newest one that's in Japan. I need to see because I remember someone posting that that actually might be the case. I can't remember where I saw it, but yeah, there will be Gundam tournament at Evo. Of course, not official, but yeah. Yeah, so the community tournaments will have their section here. I guess they're trying to fit everyone in here. I'm not sure like how drawn to scale that is, right? But it seems pretty small on this map, but hopefully it's large enough to fit us all on both days. And then, of course, Chipotle being a major sponsor of Evo now is going to have their own section. I'm sure they're going to be selling burritos or something. I don't know. What will Chipotle do at a fighting game tournament? Bamco doing their stuff. All these other fighting companies we're used to seeing. Now, Riot Games is the big one. The news has been, of course, revealed that Riot Games will be having in-person play test for the game available for people to play. And I mean, it should be expected that will be a long line consistently through the 2 days because this is the first time the game's been playable publicly. And now the fact that it's being able to be played publicly at an in-person event first is a huge deal. So there will be a lot of people probably lining up for that. I'll definitely give it a shot. Might as well. I mean, not that I'm super interested in Project L, but I mean, literally, this is a good chance to play the game before a lot of other people can. So might as well do it. And I'll give my thoughts on it, hopefully, to the Discord too. Crunchyroll being here is interesting as well. This partnership has never been done before, where Crunchyroll does Evo. I think it goes to show how like where Evo is right now. Kind of feels like a convention rather than the original fighting game tournament it was years ago. But that's not necessarily for the worst. That can be in many ways a lot better for everyone because I mean, after all, these sort of partnerships are what allow for Evo to be profitable and like have the good standing it has currently. But that being said, obviously that doesn't mean there's going to be crossover with the anime fan base. Oh, Retro, we lost Retro Rage. Hopefully we get him back soon. But yeah, I hope, I don't know what Crunchyroll will have here. Honestly, the fact that they've become kind of corporate nowadays, it's not a bad thing. They've grabbed the bag, so they really should be rejoicing, right? But that also means they've lost a lot of their leverage in terms of having the shows that people actually want to watch. Some of the rights they've lost thanks to Disney, sadly. Of course, not the least of which being Bleach. Wink, wink. So I don't know if I'll be interested in the Crunchyroll booth. But yeah, regardless. Hey, welcome back, Retro.
Yeah, some issues happened on my end.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. It was just Crunchyroll.
I will say
Good.
that, Crunchyroll being there is pretty, how do you put it this way? It's very on the nose with like, the FGC. I'm sure we've had our anime moments, like I can't lose, I gotta win. Type shit. And there's also, yeah, like a lot of anime fighters, anime. Hey, it meshes two together. Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense if you have like the Megacorp Crunchyroll Monopoly Crunchyroll at your venue, and they're so here to sell you anime while you play anime.
Yeah, it's a business
But
move. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a good business deal, I will say. Like,
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Interestingly too, right? Like Strive has kind of been so mainstream that I'm not sure if you guys know, but um, there's a card game called Vice Schwartz, and it's like a
oh
mixing
yeah,
pot
baby.
of like a bunch of different anime series, and Strive
Yep.
is now one of those series for that game. Not only that, it's illustrated by the one and only Hungry Clicker himself. So that one, I mean, obviously that doesn't relate to Crunchyroll directly, but the fact that that partnership, or I guess that the fact that that's a thing at all, does show that Crunchyroll being at Evo makes some sort of sense. Uh, so that's agreeable. We lost Retro Rage again. We'll hopefully get him back soon. But yeah, so that's that. Artist Alley is huge. They got a lot of people this time around. I don't remember seeing the artist. I think there's the artist list here somewhere. But not that I would know most of them, unfortunately. But yeah, Artist Alley. Indiecade, I believe, is just supposed to be like the indie developers showcase or something. And then last
Yeah.
but oh yeah, okay.
Um.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've had actually contacted two developers. One from Cross Indie, which is like a platform fighter, which it's all right,
Mhm.
and they applied for it. And also one Stepper Medan developer, Thomas Moon King, creator of Duelist of Eden, which is a you know grid battle. Um, and they actually I have not heard yet from Cross Indie, but I've only heard that Thomas Moon King has released a trailer for he calls it Evo trailer for Duelist of Eden, which is pretty sick. But he has not made the confirmation that he will be at Evo. So if you actually do see them, like I hope I see either one of them because that'd be really great. Because I hope they sign up for it. So there's that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard of Duelist of Eden. That's really cool to hear that. Yeah, the fact that the Indiecade is at Evo, I think, goes to show that this is still at its core a community event. So it's really nice to see that. Um, yeah, Retroade, sorry we lost you for a bit there. Any thoughts on Indiecade or Crunchyroll? Oh, hopefully we didn't.
He's speechless because anime has control of him. Oh no.
Okay, yeah, hopefully we can get him back soon. But okay, the last thing about the map that is noteworthy is probably the BYOC and free play consoles. I believe so. I couldn't recall. I remember learning the difference and I forgot again. What was the difference between the arcade and then the free play consoles? Are the free play consoles literally just like home consoles?
Uh, yeah, I believe so. Like, if I remember, yeah, I think you just bring your own console and then you just play them. And then we have free play consoles, which like it has the, you know, set uh, consoles there, and everyone just plugs and plays, and that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, like there's a dedicated area where I remember last year if you wanted to play in that area, you have to walk across the room just to go there, and when you're you know and vice versa if you're siege if your bracket's ready, you just have to it's a very long walk, I will say. um
Mm-hmm.
I think like arcade, it's just like a bunch of arcade machines, and then people just like to play there. for like old time's sake, like just like old beat 'em ups, and candy cabinets, that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense actually. All right, cool. Yeah, and then of course BYOC is gonna, bring your own console. There are gonna be tournaments there, so the things like the JoJo All Star Battle tournament, the Last Blade 2 tournament, the Dragon Ball. There, I think it's like Super. I don't remember the full name of the Dragon Ball game, but it's like some weird Dragon Ball game is gonna be there too, having a tournament at BYOC. Gundam, I believe, is gonna be here too. So yeah, there's going to be a good slate of games that weren't quite in the official community showcase that are going to be at BYOC as official, or not official, but like, community run tournaments. And some of them even have a couple of pots thrown in there. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so about the community showcase, right? There's a lot to say about it. Let's go over here. So the games that are going to be there, is there a full list
Yeah,
image?
there's a full list. Scroll down. Okay.
Down.
Yeah. Okay. Up a little bit.
Oh, there we
Up a
go.
little bit.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Here we go. Let me zoom in a bit. Hopefully that
Yeah.
works. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can scroll down now. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
See, it's all Street Fighter.
Yeah, true. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You must have an Evo pass. So no, this wasn't really well communicated, but you could have just had a spectator pass to participate in the community showcase tournaments. But communication is lacking this year, so I'll reserve saying anything else on that. But anyway, yeah, Blaze Blue, Cross Tag, and Central Fiction. Now, honestly, Central Fiction, I'm not sure if the numbers are public. They probably are, but Central Fiction has a lot of people. It's not even the most registered game in the community showcase. Believe it or not, it's actually Exard Rev 2 that has the most number of entrants for the community showcase. And I do believe the rollback recently added to the game gave it a huge bolster to its community and its player base. So that's a big deal. But yeah, Central Fiction got a lot of players. And honestly, this game, especially now in hindsight, deserves a lot more love. But it's probably not going to get that main stage love anytime soon, or even anytime at all for that matter. I mean, looking at where things are now with Arxie's games, I don't think we're ever going to get something like what we've got for this game, especially given that it already has rollback now. We just have to be content with where it is, basically. Cross Tag Battle still has a relatively decent amount of players. Obviously, it got rollback too, but there wasn't as much hype around it because the game itself is controversial, to say the least. CVS 2 has its dedicated player base. It's going to be played on Dreamcast. So, yeah, I think that's just going to be a pain to set up, but, they're dedicated, so what can I say? DNF is going to be there. Rev 2, as I mentioned, Plus R on PC. They've got setups for this. I believe it's like PCs specifically that are just meant to launch Plus R and then have decent input delay that's not going to intrude with the game. And
yeah, I'm quite surprised that now they switched it from PS3 to PC, because PS3 was like used last year, and there's a lot of input lag. But for a lot of good players, they can manage through the input lag and do actual combos. So there's that.
Yeah, I think what happened here, so at Slashback, there was a person that got set up the PCs I described. Like, it's a very tiny PC. I believe it's like a Raspberry Pi or something. And basically all it does, you press some button and it launches Plus R, and then it's supposed to be low lag. The reason why having Plus R on PC is a big deal is because it allows you for the lenient input method, which basically just means that if you are like on keyboard or hitbox, it's going to be a lot easier to hit those half circles. The deal with that is basically it's on keyboard and hitbox, it's easier to do a fast half circle where the game might eat one of those inputs on the half circle to make it not a proper half circle. And unfortunately, in Plus R, you do need to have the full 4, 1, 2, 3, 6 or 6, 3, 2, 1, 4 input in order to get the half circle registered. So it just makes it a lot easier to have it on a lenient input scheme, which is only available on PC. So that makes sense to me. It's still, it's still interesting logistically, but I'm sure they've got it figured out because Slashback did have this too. MVC2 on Dreamcast, again, probably going to be a pain, but it's there. P4, I mean, what is there to say about this game, right? This game got rollback and then kind of went under the radar once again.
Nothing.
Wait, so Persona 4 Arena Ultimax,
Yeah.
not only did it get rolled back, but it finally updated to the
Oh,
actual arcade edition in Japan, that was initially
2.0.
exclusive to Japan.
That's right. That's right. That is a big deal. And that was also the broken version of the game, but it is the newest version, so people were content with that.
You had to wait for 10 years just for that update that already came out like years ago, and it was just like not like you were just stuck with like on the PS3, and essentially a majority of the shadow characters in the game, which is like what the clone characters of said character,
Mm-hmm.
they were just like broken. Like you can get away with a lot of dirty shit, but I think it kind of balances a little bit more out. But there's still some broken elements in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, so there's that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the fact that Atlas entertained porting it to PC was a big deal too. They would never do that. Okay, Skullgirls. Yeah, that game has its controversy, but we'll not touch on it. The part I will touch on is that I believe who's now the publisher or developer, I can't remember which one, threw in extra money to the pot. So that one is definitely like that one might be on the radar just a little bit. There was another game that had extra money thrown in, but I believe it's a BYOC game, which is a Sam Show.
Yeah, now that I think about it, where is Sam's show in the community showcase? Like it's always been in there for like years.
Yeah, so I believe SNK partnered with like Tenno Media to make it part of BYOC or something. I'm not sure exactly on the specifics, but they're not part of the community showcase, and SNK will still be throwing in the pot bonus nonetheless. I think it's like 5,000 or something, which is pretty crazy for like how
That's crazy.
big that's gonna. Yeah, exactly. I mean, winner gets what, like 60%, which is insane for how small it's gonna be. So if you're a Sam Show gamer, like definitely enter that one. See if you can steal some people's money, like from SNK or something. I don't know.
Oh no, that guy from Canada is gonna take it all.
Is that
Like,
oh,
so, I've kind of kept up with Sam Show top eights, and not a lot of Japanese players have been playing. There's only like either from Mexico or from America or from Canada or from France, and that's pretty much like top eight majority of the time for Sam Show. Um, but yeah, like not a lot of Japanese players. I don't know why.
yeah, maybe. I mean, the crossover is with SNK gamers, right? Like KOF players, and those players are now focused on SF6. So to me, it's reasonable, I guess. But yeah, Sam Show and Garo will both have like pretty high pop bonuses in the BYOC section. So definitely check those out for any of you that are. I mean, the people to whom that pertains are probably not watching this and probably won't watch this in time. But too bad they missed the news if they didn't know already. Soul Calibur will be there. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 being there is hilarious, but I guess people still play the game. So, sure. I mean, I'm
That
like,
reminds me of that
yeah,
Jabali tweet when uh Street Fighter 5 came out. So many people were demanding for a Street Fighter 4 side tourney. But then like when Street Fighter 6 came out, like two people like asked for a Street Fighter 5 side tourney.
I have the tweet. Here we go. For those of you that didn't know about this is sick. When Street Fighter 5 dropped the first time at CEO, I still got 50 emails requests if Street Fighter 4 would have a tournament at all. When SF6 dropped this year, I only got 2 messages asking for SF5, and no one even replied to have it as a side event. Do with that what you will. You stir in the pot right there.
Dude, IDOM's gonna take it the money, or Punk, either one of those two.
Like, would they even be like focused on the game? Like, I feel like they'd just be fully focused on SF6 and drop their SF5 muscle memory entirely.
I mean, I'll be real with you. Like Street Fighter, Street Fighter players like should still translate regardless of how much combos you drop. Because if you can't win money there, at least you could try winning money over there.
No, yeah, point taken. And if they have time, I'm sure they'll still play in that. Yeah, Super Turbo, Street Fighter 4, Uniclair, which is what I'm doing, VSAV, and Virtua Fighter I'm playing in. But it's definitely going to be like I'm just, mashing buttons pretty much. Not literally, but I'm not like focused on
Bro, those
competitive
50-year-old
mindset.
Japanese players, man, they gonna beat your ass.
In fact, I don't know if there are any Japanese players that entered. I think like the highest seed is Gentleman Thief, who's like probably North America's best player, but he's still like, it's not. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'll just say that. We'll see. I mean, if I win a game, I'll be happy, but like, I don't really care. Yeah. So that's the community showcase. Again, it's like Evo is like, I guess, officially taking in the side tournaments that are part of the showcase instead of it being part of Vortex Gallery, which just gets space at the event. But I don't like, again, I can give more insight maybe after the event or when I'm allowed to, because right now there's still a lot of information that that simply can't be said right now. But okay, anyway, I think that's about it for community showcase. Anything else you guys wanted to mention regarding that, or anything else that wasn't touched on?
Oh, there's probably a Budokai 4 announcement from Bandai, maybe. 'Cause that got announced last tournament or something.
Oh, okay.
The Dragon Ball game, Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Yeah, that's right. That'll definitely be big among the anime people. Not like the anime fighting gamers, but like the anime fans, I guess.
It's a fighting game. I'd argue it's a fighting game. It's very not easy.
It's
Right.
an arena fight. Woo.
It's not an arena fighter. Well, I mean, it is, but not like your classic arena fighter.
No, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, okay, got it. The pricing, we can talk about a bit about that. Where are we in here? An hour and a half? Yeah, we can close this out soon. The pricing is interesting because people have always complained like, oh yeah, Evo is so big now and still has poverty prize pools. Well, the payout this time is a lot bigger than it has been before. This is the top 16 payout for Street Fighter 6, and then every other game is getting pretty decent pricing as well. I think the controversy is the fact that top 6 is what's being streamed, and yet the top 8 are still the ones that are in the money. And that's also the case for the community showcase games. Basically, for Uniclair and other games that have over 64 entrants, the top 8 will all be receiving a cut of the pot. And then for lower than 64, I think it's like just the top 4 or something like that. But anyway, top 16, I mean, getting, what is this, 13th place for $650, much better than the first place winners even from previous years. But still, like 7,000 people, I mean, I don't know. This doesn't seem like that much. Obviously, the winner getting 20K is not bad, but like, I think they could still do better. Like, that's what I'm left with saying. What do you guys think about that?
For 700 or 7,000 entrants, it should be way higher.
Agreed. Yeah.
But, I think if I were to do it, let's see, 7,000, and then that's like a $10 per person, right? If I'm doing the math correctly. 7,000 times 10, yeah, 70,000. Should have been like $50, so 350,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable.
350,000. First place gets what? 100,000? Maybe that's a little too much.
I mean,
Maybe
you
like
can also
80,000.
You can also split it down further into like the top 48 instead of the top 16.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely should have been at least minimum double what's here, 140. Agreed. But that's where my number goes to.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Storm Clemmer?
About like the prize pools?
How do you feel about the pricing? Yeah.
I don't. Honestly, get your money. That's it.
Hmm.
I guess yeah, esports shouldn't be your job, but
True.
7,000 entrants, 346 carrying Evo this year, so they should have got a little more. Plus, Capcom Cubs got like $1 million, so they could have put a little more into Evo.
Eh,
I mean, my real thoughts. I think this clearly shows that it's for profit. So, uh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's how you make money. That's how businesses make money.
yeah. I mean, sure, they can do their
Yeah.
thing. At the end of the day, it's Evo, right? It's not like I still feel like yeah, Evo winning Evo is definitely prolific for a player's career. Like if they focus on fighting games, but it's still an open tournament, right? And these days,
Yeah,
especially, it's become like a convention. So I feel like, yeah, making it like the focal point of prize money won is probably not all that. But at the same time, they should at least respect the players or the people that are making Evo happen, which is the players themselves that enter, and have good prize pools, considering that they've grown to this, this size. But I guess this is passable enough. Um, on the other hand, the fact that look at it this way, right? Like Mortal Kombat with its 449 entrants is getting a $25,000 prize pool. I mean, for those
Crazy.
brothers or whatever people call them, like the people from is it Chile or Brazil or something? That's gonna be free for them, dude. Free 10,000, take that. You know what I mean? Um,
I
and
mean
then
that's. I
yeah,
mean, as much as how loaded the prize pooling is, like if you're dedicated to the game, you should be rewarded for being that dedicated. Honestly.
no, sure. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. I'm kind of musing. Um, it's like MK11 with its 449 entrants has the same prize pool as what Tekken 7 and Strive. I mean, it's just amusing. I'm not complaining about it, but
But let's look at the longer run. Which one of them is having a constant, tour like a Tekken World, like with Tekken World Tour? You have so many opportunities to make money through
hmm
like majors and points, and then the accumulation of that is like the biggest tournament of tournaments, right? With MK11, there's nothing. There's no support. Like Ed Boon is doing whatever he's doing with his new MK1, and then you have like fighters still doing their grand tour. You have, I think, what Melty is also doing their grand tour. A lot of these, games are doing grand tours. They're still making more money, and then you have MK11,
yeah.
who's just like there because it's clout. That's it. Nothing else has. They have nothing contribute except like whatever they have been envisioned in. And then you have Evo, where this is like, yeah, it's big, but it's just one major. That's it. It's just like the largest major out there. Then you have CEO, you have Combo Breaker, right? And I wouldn't worry if you're like a competitor. Like, yeah, you beat like thousands of people. That's great, but still, you're always gonna like your job as a competitor is just be entertaining, fight more people, get more money. That's it. I don't think they care about too much about you know heavy majors like this. You just make your money and go.
Fair enough. I think yeah, I mean as long as they realize that they are much bigger than they used to be and they should have much bigger prize pool accordingly. Like they don't have to settle for the poverty prize pools from
Oh,
before.
oh yeah, like don't get me wrong, like dump in more money. That'll make more people inclined to do stuff like this. This is this is like the time and range you want Tekken World Tournament and want that $7,000 for first place. Chump change for beating like a god of Tekken and another god of Tekken with like the lowest tier character and $7,000. That's
Yeah, it's
that's
laughable.
the same prize punt money as fourth place. Like at the biggest, not like it's like the finals of all finals of the Grand Tour. Like, come on.
Yeah, literally traveling the world to get $7,000 in yeah, it's sad.
Yeah,
Um,
this prize breakdown, triple it or just quadruple it. That would make things a lot more interesting you know,
If with
out.
these kind of prize pools, they should have removed the ads.
Agreed.
Grand top 8.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't say anything. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah. Right?
But yeah, they do this and then they still have all the ads.
Yeah, exactly.
did they do this at the Super Bowl? No, I'm being serious. At the Super Bowl, like grand finals, whatever, do they play ads?
They do?
Yeah, because it makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
Super
How do
Bowl
you
ads?
think they get funding for Evo?
Well, I mean, they're profitable.
Well,
though. Like, so they can
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
they can definitely afford to have less ads. It's just that they want to make more money, which, fair enough, right? Like, I think, yeah.
That's at the end of the day, you gotta make money. Like I'm not. I mean, yeah, you can moan and bitch all you want. Where are you gonna get the money? Where are you gonna get the money? Huh?
Screw the money, dude. Just do it.
Okay, here's my thing too, right? Like, Twitch ads are so annoying, okay? Like, that one, I'm sure they can figure out a way to stream it not on Twitch and still make the same amount of money. And trust me, it's not just Twitch ads that they're running. They're also running burned in ad, like ads that they like have pre-made and they run on the physical stream, right? Like that one, I'm not saying they should, like, because obviously those ones are worth more and definitely give them more money, but I think they'll be fine. Like, yeah, ads will make it possible, but they, I don't think they need to have that many ads and then have these small prize pools. I mean, these are pretty small for what Evo size is now, but it's much better than years past. So maybe we just need to gradually
how
get
much is an Evo ticket?
there. So there's the.
Bird, $90.
Oh, good.
Early bird $90.
Okay, let's just round up to $100 to keep it simple, right? $100, 9,000 unique entrants ish. That's $9 million. Wait, no, that's not 9,000. 900,000. No, $900,000, right? Is that $900,000? That's not a lot. Sheesh.
Yeah, just from competitors' money. I mean, but usually you can get away with, especially for Evo, you can get away with just putting all the competitor money straight to the pot.
How much is venue fee? So to rent the place that they're renting for 3 days,
Right.
how much would that cost?
I don't know the exact amount, but at the time of year they do it, let's just say it's not that competitive because they do it right in the midst of the summer in Vegas. It's obviously expensive, but it's like they've proven that they can bring in the amount of people they do, and they certainly don't have the highest rate that other people have.
Wouldn't okay, they must make a deal, right? Because with the amount of people coming in, it's like all the businesses around are profitable. It's like freaking Taylor Swift, tours or whatever.
Exactly. No, yeah.
So, okay, I don't know. I have to look at the exact numbers before, to exactly determine the prize pool. I'd have to see the numbers.
Right.
I'm not in the the business part of the team in Evo, but logistically they do also have to factor in how fast
Security.
these journeys are going.
Yeah.
Because last year it went way too late, and Evo had to pay extra because they weren't even close to packing up Evo. And it felt, I think it was like as if they had to pay like for a 4-day venue. That's how much it costed them.
That's what I'm saying. They should have just made it 4 days. That's actually what I said like towards the beginning of the podcast.
I wish they made it 4 days,
Okay, we're on the same page there. Okay, great. Yeah.
Like I need my best players have a rest period, like a days of rest. Go enjoy Vegas. Blow your money on blackjack and hookers and stuff. I don't care. You need to have the rest day, and then when game day comes, boom, you're ready. Come on. The moment they get on the plane, they're already there. Just like, ugh, jet lag. I ain't not gonna.
But they'd be grinding anyways. You think? In my opinion, bro, they'd be grinding.
I mean,
You think they'd rest? I don't know.
I think a lot of players arrived today, actually, or today or yesterday.
Yeah. Arslan should be arriving by today.
Yeah. I'm going there Thursday, which is a lot of normies do that.
Same.
Yeah. But I think they can afford to make it a 4-day event. I mean, the 3-day thing was like made sense for the scale way back, but I think for a number of years now, 4 days would have helped them a lot, especially if they're going to do 8 main games. I mean, like 8 doesn't sound like a lot, but like let's be real. This year especially. This is 9,000 people. Like 4 days would have been a lot easier. Anyway, okay. So that's prizing. Yeah, Pro Circuit World Tours, cosplay, they usually have that. We already talked about Crunchyroll. Okay.
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. Anything else, you guys? Like any closing thoughts?
I think this is gonna be a great Evo, honestly.
If I get enough money, I'm gonna buy Evo.
Oh.
Um, if I go 2-2 in a pool, that's my money well spent. If I go 1-2, I'd be disappointed. 0-2, don't talk to me for the.
Where are you? What are you playing in?
KOF and Tekken, yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have not touched KOF for quite a long time. So that's gonna be tough. But Tekken, I hope I get 3 out of 2, because going a 5 or 5 out of 2, 5-2 is you have to be pretty decent. Like 6-2, like I mean that at least you're out of pools, but you don't drown in pools, so there's that. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, aside from I'm entered in, so they didn't sort it out, I guess, but I was supposed to have been dropped from KO15 and SF6, which I had entered in before. The games I'm still entered in right now are just BlazBlue and VF, and unfortunately, BlazBlue's happening while I'm TOing the Uniclair stuff, so I'm DQing from BlazBlue most likely. So it basically just leaves you down to VF, and VF I'm just kind of entering for formality, I suppose. Have a little bit of fun, but I'm not going to focus on the competitive mindset for that whatsoever. The main goal is to get a lot of photos to enjoy the environment of the convention, and hopefully I get a chance to meet everyone that's in this server that is going. I don't think we've met face to face Stormclaimer, so that'll be a
What are
cool
you talking about? We
opportunity.
met in Japan. No.
I mean, I think only that video call, that was it. So
just a couple of things I've learned when talking to big names in the FGC.
mm-hmm.
They're just normal people,
Mm-hmm.
except Punk. Don't talk to him when he's losing.
True.
One of my mutuals actually did that. Say, hey Punk, can I take a selfie with you after you lost? He's like, STF, you get out my face, bitch. And he just made that tweet. He's like, don't do this to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's Punk.
but regardless, people are still people. Like, sure, they'll be high up there, but I've met players like Reinhardt. I've met players like Daigo. I've met Rixta. A lot of well-named players. Like, hey, you might as well see Sajam there. He'll be chilling there at the Guilty Gear Exert booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to ask him for a picture. They want the pictures. That's their job. They need the exposure. Don't be afraid to hit up Yipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what Tasty Steve told me. It took me like 2 times just to take a picture with him, because I was so out of the water that just meeting them for the first time, that it's a very exhilarating feeling, right? It's a very it's that kind of feeling, like just like going in the gambling room, and then all of a sudden you find Super Akuma, who was top 8 at last year's Tekken. He's already there just blowing money and winning $100 on blackjack. And they're all just normal people at the end of the day. So go out there, ask for a picture, compliment them, and have a good time.
Yeah, great advice. I love the closure on that. And y'all definitely take it to heart. There's a lot of people I know I want to meet. Like, okay, aside from people in our server, right? a lot of people I know I want to meet, and I don't know if I'll have time for it, or I don't know if they'll have time. At the same time, I I almost have to be a little ready for people to want to meet me. It's like I'm not trying to say it sound conceited, but like I do need a little bit of self awareness for that. We'll see how that goes.
I'm sorry, who?
Me,
Oh,
because of the
I thought you
Uniclair
said
stuff.
me. I was like, he's a very friendly person. Just take a picture with him.
Oh, not Nee. No, yeah. But yeah. I mean, if I do meet Nee, I won't hesitate to ask for that picture.
He's great. He's such a great guy.
Oh no, yeah. Watching the streams, he seems like a cool person. Yeah. But yeah, plenty of people I want to meet. Plenty of things I want to buy. Because it's an event, you're supposed to enjoy yourself. So
Oh yeah.
I've got that sorted out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Retro, hopefully we can have you along for
Yeah,
one of these years.
post Evo podcast coming in
Yes.
5-ish days.
Yes, absolutely. And that one we'll be able to talk with a lot more insight, of course. I think we did one. That was actually like our first episode of the whole podcast series, right? Where we talked about Evo after the fact. So, yeah, we'll do that again. Make sure you guys catch that one. And yeah, I think that should about do it. So thank you guys so much for tuning into Ursine Combo Lab audio. Oops, I did the wrong image. Ursine Combo Lab audio episode number 18, a pre-EVO 2023 discussion. This has been Karushi Drive, Retro Rage, and Storm Claymore signing out from the internet. See you guys next time.